from the dinner table just outside the perimeter of Atlanta, Georgia, where we score with Jamal and Brad can do it all.
Okay, that was good.
Yeah.
No, that was good. I'm not going to fault you for something that's actually like decent. That one was good.
No, that was good. I'm not laughing at
try
that
to
at all
rhyme with
because it was
keister, so
bang on accurate.
That's about as good a compliment as I ever get from y'all. It's like, oh, I'm just not going to fault you.
I'm so glad that none of our kits have purple in it because I don't know what the hell you would do.
I'm about as far away from like Roman Reigns acknowledge me as I'm ever going to get with these two. It is the 5 Takes podcast and we are back.
We're back, baby.
Like earthquakes in the Northeast. I am not talking about San Jose. Apparently there was an earthquake
it was a 4.7
on the East Coast. Have either of y'all been in an earthquake or any other type of natural disaster apart from being a Chelsea Football Club supporter? Yes. We couldn't beat Sheffield.
No, you couldn't. That was
impressive.
Hey, yeah, there are some really non-impressive draws out there, and Atlanta United's had quite a few of them. Lord knows, yeah. But that one was like, I went, oh no.
You know what the good news is, Glenn? The season's almost done. You only got like 3 matches left.
End it now.
It's true.
They're already relegated.
It's like 7.
They're already relegated.
Yeah. It's not good.
What was good was getting a point on the road. Finally, we get some points on the road. I would have preferred a win. I think the win was there. Etienne. But
I literally went back and looked at that like 6 different ways, by the way. I kept hitting go back 10 seconds, go back 10 seconds. And the only thing that I can say about that header is that it had to have glanced off the side of his head. And so like when he went to hit down, it went like this.
No, he put direction on that.
I don't think so. I think he muffed it.
Yes, he did. Quit absolving this man.
I'm going to enter. Okay, y'all stop arguing.
I think if he hits here, he scores. No, I think it hit here.
No, he had no angle on it. He was facing away from the goal and he was off to the side of the net. He was trying to head it to, I don't remember who was stating.
You think he was heading it back?
He was trying to put it into the
center of the box.
Yeah, he was trying to put it
to hit.
Yeah,
and the New York defender just blocked it entirely. It was like blocking a pass.
He was trying to put it in the path of, I think that was Mascara running up on it. I think he could have done more with it.
I think he definitely had the angle. Like I said, if he hits it with the front of his forehead and just heads it down.
But also, I'm not.
He buries it.
Apparently, I'm potting with 2 Etienne apologists here.
No.
I'm fucking with you. I know you're not, and I think
no. What we are we're students of the game, and we understand how anyone in that situation, if they do it differently, they do it better. What I will say is, so we're just going to chalk it up to another Derek Etienne handling of the ball mistake.
He is a take later on. It's what's to be expected. From
saving
Mr.
it for when it's a take,
yeah.
But you asked about natural disasters. I have been in multiple natural disasters. I've been in 2 earthquakes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, 2 earthquakes. 1 in Costa Rica, 1 in Mexico. That was fun. And then I don't know how many hurricanes. Been in a lot of those. Do those?
Yeah, I was in Hurricane Hugo in 1989. It hit the East Coast, and it came as far inland as Charlotte because that's where I was living still.
Okay.
And we had a lot of huge, we did have a pine tree hit our house. Luckily, it didn't cause that much damage. It was really one of those where they had to kind of just like roll it off the side of the house and then cut it down. We were very, very, very lucky. We were out without power for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. It really wasn't that bad, but it was enough that like when the tree hit, I fucking remember that. Like I was 5 to age myself. But more importantly, my wife was in bed at I think it's 5:03 when the Northridge earthquake hit in Los Angeles. So she has some core memories of the Northridge earthquake.
I personally didn't feel the little tremor that we had. I didn't feel anything. Did y'all feel anything?
Nah, me neither.
Okay.
I will say this though, because it was fairly minor, obviously. Some of the TikTok the devastation videos are pretty funny. Like somebody showed their like salt shaker had fallen over and it was like doo, 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 doo.
So my corporate office is up on Long Island and And I was working, and so I'm on Skype, and one of my coworkers is Skyping me like, we're having an earthquake. I'm like, what? What do you mean you're having you're in New York?
What do you mean now?
Yeah, like right now. And he was like, yeah, well, we thought it was a truck going by. And then we realized it wasn't a truck going by because it was still happening. And then we're all just sitting there and things are shaking everywhere. And we're like, did we just have an earthquake? Yeah, I think we just had an earthquake. It was, it was.
But that should tell you a little something about it, though. You're like, did we?
I mean, you won't really feel an earthquake of less than about 4.5, 5 magnitude, right? Like other than that, like you have to be relatively sensitive to notice the difference between like your normal everyday, like walking around and, oh, hey, the ground beneath me is shaking. Exactly. So, it has to be pretty strong for it to be noticeable. And yeah, I don't know. My favorite natural disaster story was getting evacuated out of Cancun ahead of Hurricane Wilma, which basically destroyed all of Cancun. This is about almost 20 years ago now. It was unbelievably frightening. I didn't think it was the worst flight I've ever taken in my life because we actually climbed up through it and we were the sixth
up and over it.
Yeah,
Fucking
we were
hell.
with I was on the 6th to the last plane to take off before they closed the airport down completely.
And they were like, no. It's too
said you're going to be sitting.
Take off.
Yeah, you're going to be sitting for the first 45 minutes of the flight because the threshold that a 737 can take is about 35 knots of wind, and the winds were anywhere between 29 and 33 at time of takeoff. Like, so that was rather frightening. But I, of course, was well stocked because I had managed a hurricane incident where we had a bunch of clients that had gotten stuck in Punta Cana the year before. And this is before Punta Cana got developed. And the only way to get out to some of the hotels was like these dirt roads. I used to call them 2-bra roads, where you would have to wear 2 bras to keep your boobs from hitting you in the chin going over the potholes. So
Glenn's like, I have no idea what that's like. That sounds horrible. Me and Jennifer are both like, yeah,
you were right there.
I know what that is.
I saw you.
I can't relate. I'm
dude, I go down like when I just after I had my daughter, if I went down like one whole flight of stairs, I was getting a black eye. So you're like, oh my God.
So the way they finally got these people out of this hotel where they had been stuck for 5 days in the Dominican Republic was on garbage trucks, because they were the only trucks that had wheels that could actually navigate the absolute mud flats that these roads
were. And you can't, that's like, what are they putting people in the back? Because there's only like 3 or 4 to a cab.
Yeah, basically they these flatbed trucks that they were pulling people out there on. So I had heard that they were making people live on canned tuna fish and peas, and I was like, I can't do that if we get stuck here. I hate canned tuna fish. So wait, I walk around like this,
but she loves peas.
Well, the peas wouldn't have been so bad, but like the best part is I'm walking around the swanky hotel that I'm staying at, and they got all the doors open because they're pulling all the art out of the rooms to try to save it, box it up, and whatever. And
they were really worried.
I pulled yes. Oh, I thought we were going to get stuck there for days. Do
you remember what category Wilma was?
Wilma was a high-end Cat 4. It was actually at the time, and it is still the strongest hurricane ever in the Caribbean basin.
To hit Cancun.
You know where we might get stuck for days? Talking about weather.
Hurricanes?
Talking about weather.
Anyway, long story short, I pulled all the snacks out of the minibar. Like, I pulled out 50 pounds. I pulled out 12.
Save the M&Ms and the vodka.
Yeah, that too.
Save the little bits of vodka.
If you ever wanted to know, what's Jennifer like?
A hurricane.
What what are her priorities?
This is Jennifer.
You know, there's a life-threatening event happening. Snacks.
Yeah, snacks.
Booze.
You don't sum Jennifer up in a nutshell. You sum her up in a fishbowl.
Filled with booze. Oh my, okay.
Anyway, yes. So
got it.
I was not carrying 60 pounds of vodka and minibar snacks on my back while we watched this match today.
The 2-bra road killed me.
Sorry.
You know. Speaking of being properly supported, it's a brilliant segue into thanking Mason Mill. If you need a little extra support yourself, you've been going down some bumpy roads in a natural disaster. You've been lugging around 60 pounds of booze and back's feeling it a bit.
I thought he was going to say 60 pounds of booze.
Both, front and back. You're carrying a load front and back. You're carrying a load.
If you don't know, know. Hashtag if you know, you know. Because I'm telling you how bad your back hurts from carrying 60 pounds of boobs.
Go to Mason Mill. They can help you out either way.
Mill.
They deal with this stuff all the time. Stuff all the time. Give them a call, 404-321-0082. Ashley or Rachel will be on the other end of the line, and they will set you up with your appointment with Dr. Cohen or Dr. Farisi over in Decatur, Georgia, off McConnell Mill Drive. And you can find them on the web, masonmillchiro.com. Phenomenal chiropractor. We've been going there for a long, long time. Promise we wouldn't just take any support just because they want to support us. We actually are only interested in promoting things that we are passionate about, that we care about, that we've vetted, that we've tried. And that will always hold true for any sponsors that we bring onto this pod. We will never take anyone's money just for the sake of taking it. We're going to do it because we believe in whatever we're talking about. So go see them. They will take very good care of you. All right. Shall we move into, you want to do low-key man of the match first from everybody and yourselves?
Let's do low-key.
Right, let me kick it off. I am going to go with Derek Williams.
Me too.
He's featured, I think, amongst probably you guys, a couple of others as well. This guy, man, what a good, like, if I can make a baseball reference, Alex Anthopoulos type signing.
Yeah,
like, I'm not trying to compare Boca to Double A, but he's made better signings lately. And actually, we're going to get into somebody's thoughts on that, on Boca and the role he's playing fairly, credit where it's due, criticism where it's due. Derek has been
big mentality change, though. Big mentality change for sure. in Boca.
For sure. And Derek, for sure.
Derek being a big part of it.
Yep. And that's the type of signing that I think we needed, that we're probably going to see more of. This man is just going about his business quietly, effectively, making the tackles when he needs to be. Like, he's really not putting too many feet wrong. And he is improving the area that needed the most improvement. Let's be real. Like, defensively is where we needed somebody like him. And I bet you he's going to pop up low-key and man of the match a bunch more times this season.
Low-key as well with him is he's doing a really amazing job mentoring a lot of the young players, but Noah Cobb in particular. Real. And if you heard any interviews with Noah Cobb and Noah Cobb having played both of these matches now, everything he's saying is what he's learning about how to communicate, but how to communicate effectively on the back line. And he's given Derek Williams all the credit in the world in helping him, grow in the role and get his feet under him. So, like, not only is he actually, turned into, I think, a higher quality center back than any of us had any idea that he was, but he's also stepping in and, like, bridging the gap of generations that we kind of have between, developing players and veteran presence. And that, I think, is really laudable, because it's not always on players to step up and act like that.
Agreed. No. Do you want to expand on quickly on the point that about Boca and the role he's playing, and Amy?
Why don't you read the take we got?
So Amy Marie on our Twitter, when we put it out there and we asked for your low-key man of the match, she's going Carlos. She's going Carlos Bocanegra for low-key man of the match. And frankly, this season, she says, Derek Williams off waivers. Think about the signings from last summer to now. Not a single whiff. Agreed. Sure. Not one. Guys who want to be here, right? And guys who love the crest, guys who fit the system. Come at me, Boca haters.
Check. I don't think anybody, I at least for now, I don't think she's going to get any. I don't think she's going to get any blowback from that. I honestly think that's a very, very good.
If you're getting blowback at this point, you're just wanting to vent about Boca.
You're not paying attention.
You're not being real.
And we say that all the time. It's like, look, we may have all said, I know maybe at least at one point, all of us probably said, okay, it's time, Boca out. Maybe just at one point, we've all said it maybe at least once. But again, situations change. People can improve on their situations. And again, if you're just saying it now, you're just a hater and you're not paying attention.
It really makes me wonder, I think the larger question I have is, as the technical director, that's his job, right? How much of the directional decision making is he having a hand in? That's my wider question in all of this, because
now or prior, maybe
in both instances, because before before Darren left, the types of, and look, we all love Darren as a human, and we all love Darren for what he did for this
Love
club.
him.
But was he putting more emphasis on visibility and media presence and who he was maybe directing Boca to bring in and how to manage those signings as opposed to long-term stable growth and development of the identity? Was it Boca's job to continue to put this club on the map with big splashy signings as opposed to dealing with, you know, the painful, really heartbreaking decisions, having to let a lot of people go?
I think Boca had a tough job. He's got to get the franchise started, and then he's got to transition. Right. We needed new blood.
And how many times?
We needed Garth to come in and start that new era.
Right.
And help him become something different.
Every time we had a new coach, things had to shift. There was a dynamic shift.
Yes.
Because that plays into it too.
Yeah.
So every time we got new players in, every time a coaching change happened, and yes, when Garth came in, every time there is a shift, and he has to be. And if he's going to be the one, if he's that one constant, then it matters. You know, then it matters what he does.
It's an interesting discussion because Boca's contract is up at the end of the year.
Yeah,
this
is not going to be a simple thing anymore with him. It's not because of how well things are going, how well the signings have gone. It's not going to be a simple thing. And good. I'm here for that. Great. I want improvement. I want success. You know, I'm not here for the petty hate.
I think our postseason contention this year will have a lot to do with it.
For sure it will.
How healthy everybody stays and how much these recent signings have an impact on the game. But so far, so fucking good.
Any other low key man of the match? We got some other takes and stuff that kind of coincide with the other takes.
I got it. My low key man of the match is Jason Longshore. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
So he calls She Believes, gets on a plane. Conti actually spotted his plane landing. He posted that on Twitter from the ballpark, and he made it. And my goodness, wow.
Well, not only and I mean, I got to give him some snaps for. And I didn't get to hear the She Believes call, but my boyfriend listened to it, and he has not stopped talking about, and this is a guy who grew up listening to Braves radio, like that's his thing. So this is a man who's like super into like, you know, the Skip and Pete and Don and like all of that, right?
Love them.
Gets it, right?
Miss them. Love them, miss them.
To hear him compare Jason in that same discussion and like what Jason that was really, I mean, like the quality of the call that we're getting, and to be able to just pivot and go from a completely different type of match with a national team
it's
match
not that easy to just switch like that. Like he is the godfather of soccer in Atlanta, and we got to keep appreciating what he and Mike and 92.9 and everybody that's been involved with growing the sport here. What we witnessed this past weekend with She Believes, and you can listen to part 2 of the Women's Football Forum to get caught up on our thoughts on the match and the growth of the game and all of that. We can't take this for granted. This isn't normal what we have here. Anytime that Taylor Twellman or anybody else says, well, this is what Atlanta does. It is, but we can't take that for granted. This didn't just happen. And that's a really good shout for him. I'm really happy that he's getting this recognition, that he's getting more opportunity. This man works so hard. He's covering national team. He's covering Atlanta United. He's covering high school soccer.
Yep.
Like the dude is everywhere.
Everything from the ground
so
up
much heart.
And
so much passion.
That is, it's all heart and passion.
Man.
Nobody's writing him a check.
No.
To go out to
he's getting paid, but he ain't getting paid.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was like, I can't imagine that the accommodation for any of that is really like, you know.
He ain't making bank on it.
It's not buying him a beach house. So you got to imagine how much he's just doing this for the passion of the game and for helping everybody out that he feels deserves it. Yep. So yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Jennifer. I think that's a great one. I think that's awesome.
All right. Fair enough. We have a few other takes and we'll get into those when we get into the takes, which is now. Here we go.
Hey, transitions.
Hey, we got stuff to do tonight. We got 2 episodes to record tonight. We got to go. All right.
We're banging.
So, number 1, considering how well we've been performing on the defensive end of the ball, it's just frustrating to give up a goal like that. It's soft. Like, he taps him on the shoulder. Hello, excuse me. And he goes down. But look, we would do it too. If Yorgos feels contact in the box, what are you taught to do? Stand up? No, you're going to go down.
Right.
So you can't, Muyumba, and it wasn't just shoulder to shoulder. He does extend his arm. He does reach out and around.
He does.
And you're going to go
he pulls
down.
Him around. Does he pull him around?
No, I don't think it's enough contact.
Do that
like,
and then go down.
I've had more contact be bumped into the airport than that. And shockingly, I've been able to stay upright. You know,
we had more contact walking through the concourse yesterday.
I would have fallen over so many times.
Yeah.
But look.
Yeah.
It's you can't do that. You can't give the referee the chance, and I'm not mad at the ref.
You cannot give that contact.
He went and did VAR, and I'll be honest, I want the call to go away. In the grand scheme of things in the game and how I want games to be called and officiated, I'm kind of glad that he just, you know what, I'm gonna stick with my call. I don't need to micro this. And he probably looked at it and goes, you know what? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not an idiot. He didn't yank him down, but I'm going to stick with my call. There's contact, and we don't need to re-referee a match. I don't want to see that, so I hate the call. I don't agree with the initial call, but that's how the game's got to go. And as long as it's being called the same match to match,
and we would wish the same.
You know,
for
and I know
if we watch that back and
I just want consistency.
We don't get the call, then we're like, oh, but he yanks on him. If there's contact, it's got to be a foul. That's a foul anywhere on the field. It's a foul in the box. It's got to be a penalty.
I'm all right with it.
It's soft contact, but it was right.
In the same vein, though, I don't know how was it Gray? Is that the player with the reddish hair for him?
That was
I don't know how the hell he was still on the pitch after.
Me neither. The amount of times he's screaming at the ref.
Bad tackle and the amount of dissent.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's screaming at the ref.
That's my issue is that, okay, I will shut up and take my soft penalty because there was contact in the box and that was the play on the field. And it's got to be clear and obvious to overturn it. And it wasn't clear and obvious.
Agreed.
So there you go. But like, you know, we are never going to fix the problem with the diving and the questionable calls and this judgment thing unless these refs get serious about dissent.
Yeah.
And
no, I agree. Yeah. Demand the respect that you deserve because I mean, I love that they started giving a card when you hop up and do the card. I mean, Aiden, if people are screaming at you, like what who was it? Like, didn't one of our players get like
Caleb Wiley?
Was it Tiago or
Tiago? No, it was Tiago.
Yeah.
3-game ban. 3-game ban for yelling at the ref.
That's just got to be consistent across. That's got to be consistent across, and we're still lacking consistency. But the call itself, if we see that consistently called, no problem.
Right. And so when we finished the match last night, this is what I went, okay, we got a draw on the road. Mm-hmm. It's not the worst result that could have happened. Mm-hmm. Could we have won? Yes. The penalty was soft. We got a goal from open play. They did not. And it was a fantastic.
That's a good way to look at
it. So that was my sum up. It's like if I took 5 whole takes from like 3 sentences, it was basically that. And that's the only way I looked at it, is that our play was better. We got a goal from open play. Theirs was a soft penalty.
I like it.
Could we have won the game minus the penalty? Absolutely.
Okay.
That would have been ours. It would have been our game.
It should have been ours.
Number 2,
could have, should have.
At JW Kite on Twitter, thank you for the comment. Kind of agrees with the tone of this one in that he thinks it was a fractured, frantic match, not a lot of flow, kind of lucky to not be down by more at the half. I kind of agree. Both teams created as many opportunities for the other as they did for themselves. Like you've been saying, they got a little fortunate with their goal. You know, we provided everything but the finish for the majority of the match till Jamal does his thing. But yeah, I mean, a draw is fair. I mean, this is the first time we've undershot for what it's worth. Our XG was like over 3. We got one goal.
That was a little.
So, the chances are there. That's positive. That's good. Yeah.
I think Tiago was a little better this match. I don't know if everybody's going to agree.
There's a lot of people questioning.
You don't think so?
We'll get to that, but there's a lot of people questioning Tiago's level, which is fine. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with questioning a player's level and their performance and how they're doing. I'll push back a little bit on playing for the badge and the commitment because I think that's a hard thing to judge and quantify. So I don't like when we get into that because you're not in the player's head. But fair enough to criticize him on not being up to his standards. The standards he's set for himself, and we've come to expect, and we were missing that quality. We were.
You know. I think I might have said this last week. I can't remember, but like I do think it has taken him longer to integrate from the squad because we didn't have a full preseason from him, right? And again, I'm not.
That has a lingering effect.
Yeah, but there's a linger. So I think last week we finally started to see him playing with the same sense of abandon and beautiful and the beautiful game with the dribbles and the, all of that starting to open up because he's finally got some chemistry going with the midfield pairing and the new back line.
Yeah.
And like that, considering he's the end of the connective piece, he's got to know where the ball's coming from in order to continue to push it forward.
Look, there's a lot of people questioning that.
I don't know how you question his heart and his commitment to the badge when you see the way he responds on the field to his teammates.
I agree with you. And it's no disrespect to anyone that, like, I'm not trying to push back on the opinion of, like, Kim Wood and Footy Mob said that he just seems uninterested. And I'm not trying to push back. I'm not trying to push back against someone's opinion. Like, we all see the game differently. We feel it differently.
It's not pushback. You don't have to agree with what everybody says.
Yeah, but like, I guess I am pushing back. I don't want to discount someone's, like, your opinion is valid, but I just don't think we should get into the questioning, like you were saying, Jennifer, like the commitment. Like, you just can't. It's not so easy a thing to define. But it's fair to say that he hasn't been as instrumental, as sharp, as fluid, as pulling the strings. As it were. So no disrespect to Kim,
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's just, is he firing on all cylinders? No.
Right.
I'm not, and I'm less worried about it now. If we still have him after July and after the Olympics are over and we're getting into, September.
That'll be interesting, right?
Push, and then he's not firing on all cylinders, I'll be worried. Okay. We're still really early in this season.
We are.
We're still building.
And can I say too, I think he needs a goal. I think he needs a goal. I think
got a penalty.
Well, he needs a not penalty goal.
No, that's not what I mean.
You want an open play goal.
I want an open play goal because he's taking all the same shots that he likes to take. He almost got one. That one where he slammed into the woodwork. That would have been spectacular because of the way that he does his little Thiago thing. He spun around. He took the ball with him. He's doing a lot of ball handling, and then he just slammed it in the woodwork. If that had been a goal, what a huge coming together that can feel like. It's everybody comes around you and swarms you, and that's gotta feel good too. Good I think that might help break the ice if he can get something like that. That may help too.
Okay. Well, on top of missing Almada, we were missing Gigi's presence as well, missing his big frame to help it get on frame. On top of being a great goal scorer, which he is, it's just his strength. It's just his hold-up play that's been so key. And he's our best aerial threat to date. No disrespect to Joseph and all that. I'm talking strictly going up and winning something with your head. Like,
just because he's big.
Yeah, that Etienne moment, like, I don't know. There were a couple moments. It's not FIFA. You can't just sub a player in and he would have got that because he would have been in the exact same position as the other player. Like, I'm not saying that, but he provides something in the air that we've never really had. No disrespect to Air Force One. Magical moments, great, but wasn't Juanjo's primary job. We've never had a striker as good in the air as Gigi
we
is.
are,
and we miss that.
Every single corner kick, every single free kick that is possible to get into the box is a possibility for him to score. Yep. We never had that.
Well, and I think
I don't know. Maybe we did. Maybe we did with Joseph, but not
like that.
Joseph was quite the same sense.
That's not vintage Joseph.
I think what we really, again, it was all about clinical finish. We had so
Absolutely.
many chances, and you said in the second take, like, this was back and forth. This was open play. This is what, being on a narrow, short pitch will do for the game. And we continue to have issues being clinical in the box. That's the piece that's been missing. That's, we just talked about it with Thiago. He's had this in the last 2 matches. He has probably had 4 or 5 shots that, depending on circumstance last year would have absolutely gone in just the way he was playing. So like but it wasn't just him. I mean, it was Noah Cobb where, and look, credit to Mr. Freeze or whatever the heck New York City's goalie's name is. Like, he had himself a night last night.
He did. He made a couple of really good saves too. So
you
take those out of there.
Like, he made 7 or 8 actual saves.
You know who else?
You take those out of there. Those are some excellent goals.
I'd just like to point out, there's another keeper that also had an excellent night last night and is having just a season of seasons. I mean, I know Yorgo's stated intent, stated goal is that golden boot. Brad might have something to say about a golden glove. I mean,
he's certainly trying for it.
Keeping it out of the net
this season than he has in 2 seasons.
He's keeping it out of the net, and now he's putting it in the other one.
Oh my God!
That
what
ball,
a hockey
that ball.
was.
I know it's a shorter pitch, and that opportunity was there. I should have included that in the high five about that being a point, something to look for, distribution. That ball. Are you serious?
But it's
are you serious?
It's not something he seemed capable of doing last year.
No,
and that may
not
have
like
been
this.
Like the long-term injury.
I don't think he had the leg
whatever.
Last year.
He was not getting anywhere near as much distance or drive or accuracy on the ball. In fact, we used to knock him for his distribution and wish it was better.
That's true.
I don't wish it was better than what he's been serving up. This is twice now. Twice now. Once where he got because this is his first ever assist. By the way,
it is,
which is crazy,
career, which is crazy. But he did it's exactly the same play from the other day, plus one more pass.
I thought a big shift though too, because we were not playing out of the back because of the difference in personnel that we had yesterday. Yeah. So you're talking about the distribution that he is having straight from a goal kick. They're excellent. So far this season, Brad Guzan, have yourself a season.
Yeah.
Because I have nothing to say.
Yeah, the long ball was effective yesterday. I think that has less to do with the personnel. Like we can build out of the back fine. I think it's the pitch, really. And we took advantage of it, but I don't know. Color me impressed, man. I was shouting at the rewatch this morning when I rewatched the match early this morning. I was like, I saw the ball and he just runs on it. I'm like, that's on a dime.
But I think for those of you who've been waiting around to see Josh Cohen get a start, I think you're going to be waiting for.
Unfortunately,
you might be waiting for a little.
Man, we should have brought in serious competition for Brad a long time ago. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, and giving him a mid-season Achilles tear. Yeah,
let's not shut up. We're not speaking any of this stuff in the ether. It's not funny.
This is great. I'm so happy for him that if this is to be it. Probably is. Hey man, you want to go out like this? You've done yourself proud. You've done the club proud. You can retire and feel pretty good about it.
Better than to
knock
go out
on wood. Nothing else happens.
The aforementioned injury.
This is the way to go out after what a career. What he's had.
Oh yeah.
I mean, from Villa to here, like I'm so happy for him.
To be fair, he did score his own goal. He scored himself a goal when he was playing for Villa.
The only thing I feel bad is that he came up in the middle of the Tim Howard era, right? And never really had a big shot at the U.S. national team net because he was always behind Tim Howard.
Yeah.
And I don't, and
that's unfortunate when you're in the shadow of greatness. Like it's kind of like, if I'm going to make it like another analogy to another sport, tennis. Boy, is it real hard to come up when Roger Federer was at his best. When Nadal and Djokovic, who I hate. Like, there's players that are just 2% less, just right there.
Yeah.
And Brad is in that situation.
Because that doesn't make them.
Yeah, you're right. That's a really good shot.
For Brad, it doesn't make him a poor keeper.
No.
It just means if Tim Howard is operating at 100% and Brad is at 95,
Tim Howard,
you're still gonna take Tim for the national team.
He was the Secretary of Defense. What are you going to do?
What do you say?
What are you going to do? All right.
We're going to be excited for Brad having the season that he's having.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
Yeah, this is how I prefer to send a legend out. It sucked to lose Joseph the way we did. This is going to feel really good. And he's going to stay involved with this club. He loves this. He loves this. There's a man. Maybe he hasn't been at his best sometime. One thing you can never question is his commitment to this club
and loyalty
to the badge, man, to the badge, the crest as well. USA, he plays with more heart and passion and commitment than anyone. All right, moving on. Number 5. I don't understand Etienne coming on. Rios wasn't even listed on the availability report, so I guess he's still struggling, but he wasn't listed.
Yeah, but was it with Firmino? Was his performance the last time? Because we did really rag on Firmino's performance the last night. No, we did.
Sure.
It wasn't
I know,
great.
but still.
So is that the option? So you're saying, okay, so he had a really poor showing the last time. So
okay, there's the justification. I hear you.
I don't have a justification.
No, I'm saying the
justification
for like we're trying to get in Gonzo's head. Like, why would you?
I guess.
Okay, I could go with that reasoning. Okay, I still disagree with it, but I could go with that reasoning. It's fair.
So two things that I know of. Number one, Danny Rios, they said he had a little bit of like a calf issue or something like that.
Still struggling with that? Okay.
He didn't travel with the team,
no,
and I think he's only had a couple of training sessions, and I think that might have been why they just said, you know what, we're not going to rush it.
But he wasn't even listed on the availability report as far as injuries and stuff. He wasn't even there. It's weird. It was just listing, Silva and Yorgos.
He could have been available for selection, but he was not selected to go up with the 22. That's the thing. Odd. So he's not injured, but I think right now because we also have Luke Brennan on a two-way contract, and Luke Brennan has been playing very well on the twos. Maybe that was the safer bet as far as your extra attacker, even with Gigi out. And knowing that we may have to ask more of him depending on how long Gigi is going to be out with his bone bruise, right? You can play on a bone bruise, but it doesn't make it heal faster if you do, true. Right? So
true.
The decision that you make is do you rest him another week? Do you rest him 2 more weeks? Because it could, it's one of those things where, okay, cool. And then, Jamal, he's got, some knocks and injury history too. So does it make sense to burn him on a match like this where he's not fully integrated to the squad and you're playing on a weird pitch and he doesn't know where everybody else is going to be yet? That's kind of a recipe for exacerbating anything that's wrong with you is, coming on for your first match, being in that kind of a situation.
Right.
Going to the Firmino versus Etienne decision. Yeah. The thing I heard was Etienne's better defensively, supposedly.
No.
I don't,
I don't know. It just Etienne came on and did what Etienne does, and which is very little. Did it look to you guys like Jamal was pulled up a little bit when he came off of that?
It looked a little bit
after he scored.
I think so.
After he scored, he looked a little
hopefully
later,
just
when he was walking.
Gassed, cramped. Hopefully that's it.
Well. There was a tweet earlier today that Doug also retweeted from Jamal saying he went to get an MRI and left with back pain.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Oh, good grief,
because he was in an all-out, full-on sprint to get that ball from Mascara, and after he scored, he did not look 100% comfortable.
And Jamal posted that on his personal Insta and then took it down.
Okay.
I hope he's all right.
Well,
that's gonna kill me. I'm gonna be so gutted once we get depth and then our depth is injured. Come on.
But if our first and second is down, then we can look. We're gonna have some trouble the next couple of games.
That's not fair.
I just, but I also think they didn't pull in Firmino because what they wound up doing with bringing Etienne in there is they moved Thiago over to more of a false 9 type play. So they're looking to get the ball to Thiago for scoring like that. It isn't necessarily Firmino's game. Right.
It's another. We're faced with another one of these situations. Whether it's international break or injuries, we're faced with having to make up a lineup. We're having to make up how to make up a formation, and I know that as a club, we're kind of just a little bit tired of that.
Yeah.
We're tired, like you said, our depth. We were so excited to finally have it, and now our depth is potentially injured. So now we have to make it up again, and we need some consistency, and we need some wins. We need we need to string together a couple of really good results. And if we're dealing with missing players for whatever reason, we're not going to get that. And that's where things start to get a bit damn, we are right here. It's the cusp is right there.
I mean, all that
fucking great.
All that being said, to go up and play on City Field with that crappy, y'all can say what you want about the turf at the Bends. I'd rather play on the turf at the Bends than that piece of trash.
Agreed.
Yeah, I hate looking down and I'm like, is it difficult to track the ball?
I'm sure it is.
When you clearly have such a different change, you can look at that, that's the fucking infield. covered in grass.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that doesn't fuck with you. And it's
short
off and it's narrow
sidelines either. Like it was like, oh, here's the grass and then here's the fucking sand. Like
now, would we be having the same conversation if we'd won? I probably not. But at the same, I don't disagree with that. No, I think we would be having it. No, I think we would. Even if we had one, we'd be like, yes, we won, but that field still fucking sucks.
It's gonna suck. Anyway, it's gonna suck.
It was an average day at the ballpark. Let's put it that way.
But losing, if we just keep losing nines,
it's not. It's not good. We're gonna have another shit season.
If we keep losing our nines, we're gonna get zero.
Trading. Yeah, we can't keep trading for backup strikers. Yeah. We don't have enough money and we don't have enough roster spots. So we just have to deal. So it's like, yeah, if we have Gigi and Jamal, and then what do we do? What are we gonna do?
I'll say this as a final thought.
What you got?
And Mike Rickard, thank you for the comment on Twitter. Kind of agrees as far as why Firmino didn't get subbed on. I hear both of your arguments. It's kind of not his game. I'll push back on a little bit of that because any game is Firmino's game. Like he's kind of that like ace in the hole, joker, wild card, whatever analogy you want to use, that he can just find it. He can just plug and play. He's not clearly defined, and I think he might have made something happen. Maybe not, but that's the best reasoning I have. I don't have like some clear strategic, obviously he would do this better. I just think he might have come up with a moment of magic. That's it. Because he can be that magic man. It might not have happened. So I'm not crashing down on Gonzo for this.
Time. I don't know if I agree with that. We've seen that one time.
I've seen it plenty of times. Maybe not with the first team.
Right.
Okay, fine.
I think it's there.
I buy that. You go to more of the twos matches and you follow that a little bit more closely than I do. I hear you. But in the preseason, what I saw of Firmino was just like a little bit.
He was great preseason. Are you kidding me? He had a great preseason.
No, I'm not kidding you.
We didn't watch the same preseason then. He scored 2 goals.
I think the thing I fault Gonzo for is that this match was there for the taking, the way that we had been playing, and Firmino's a considerably better finisher.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Disagree.
I don't disagree. Needed that instead of unfortunately dead weight.
Unfortunately, what Etienne does, what he always does, which is he mishandles the ball when it's at his feet, or in this case, head.
Yeah, he's just not a good
I don't agree with it either.
Decision maker in that last final moment. Anyhow,
and I don't know why we still have him.
That's all I got to say on it. I don't think this was a terrible match.
We had to buy out Eric Lopez, so we couldn't buy him out.
Oh, that's right. No. You're right. You're right. So
we'll just have to deal with it.
That part we don't know. We'll just have to say, well,
we just gotta hope that Gigi gets healthy and is okay, and same with Jamal, because you just can't play soccer without a proper 9. You just can't. They're at a premium around the world. Strikers are everything. People that score goals, that's what they do for a living, is score goals. Right. Yeah, you can get goals other way, but you gotta, especially for this team, we need that 9. That any season that's been poor, we haven't had it.
We've shown it. That's right. Exactly. We've shown how much we need it.
All right, y'all. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for listening. We appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the women's pod that we've been putting out. We had a couple hundred listens on that. We really appreciate that. It's important.
Yeah, pretty wonderful.
For the growth of this sport and the game and the women's game. It's really, really important. It's something that we all need to get behind and do our part. And our part is going to matches and listening to content, watching content,
buying merch,
supporting strong women in the game. And it's if you build it, they will come. And we saw that this weekend. Listen to the part 2 of the women's football forum for more info on that. We will be back. Who we got up next? Who's coming? We got a home game, right?
We got a home game against the team I hate the most.
Philadelphia on a Sunday at 2:30 in the afternoon. So
we get we do get to celebrate one of my favorite people, and we do get to have a bagel brunch gate. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Clarify who?
It is a good friend of mine. It's a good friend of mine's birthday, and what we do on Sunday mornings is this is it's a family thing, right? Yes. You have bagels and lox, and Sunday New York Times. Like that's how I grew up having breakfast on Sundays. So next Sunday, that's what she wanted for her birthday. So we will be having a bagel gate.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. So good thing though, we get to string together a couple of home games. Yeah. So if we're still trying to figure out what attack we're gonna have right now, Maybe it's a good thing we're going to be at home. I don't want us to lose at home, since that's where we seem to have the best opportunity to win. But just a couple, and then we go, you know, then we got Chicago again. So, you know, could be a couple of games where we could have
a string together results, no losses.
It's Cincinnati at home, the next one after Philadelphia. So that's not going to be easy, obviously. No. But we've got some stuff that maybe we can do. So,
all right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, everybody bring your driver's license next week. Make sure you got that on you. They're checking those at the door, making sure that they're authentic fans here, you know, very tightly
make sure
controlled
they say
on
you're from ITP. Otherwise, you don't count. You're only here for the party.
That's right. That's never going to get old, is it?
No. Whatever.
The gift that keeps
on. Jim Curtin.
All right, y'all. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for supporting Mason.
And the horse you rode in on.
And the horse you rode in on. Thank you for supporting Mason Mill and us and Fan TV. Make sure you join the Fan TV Discord. That link will be in the show notes, and the website for Mason Mill will also be in the show notes. All right, we will be back next week for 5 Takes episode. I do not believe we'll have a 5-a-side, since the women's part 2 is kind of taking care of that this week, but we will be back the following week with a 5-a-side, and then we got some other cool stuff coming along with some collaborations with some other supporter groups and some stuff as well. Still working on the unified match. We got a lot of cool shit coming, so appreciate everybody.
Stay tuned.
Appreciate everybody listening to all the old content, the new content, all the content. It really does mean a lot to us. So yeah, we'll be back in a week's time. Until then, y'all be good. We will be back.
I was practicing.
That was a very sexy sign off.
That was hot cat.
Hot cat. Hot cat.